Tonight, I have found myself here in Chinatown, on the outskirts of downtown Los Angeles. It's Sunday night, February 1st, 2026. It's about 10:55 p.m. It's about 61 degrees, moderate, and it feels nice. I think I'm gonna walk around the neighborhood, see some of the sights, see some of the lights, and just see what kind of things I can encounter. Some of the lighting is still on. Should be kind of quiet down here. We'll see what we have in store. And I'd love for you to come along with me. So let's get to it. The Chinatown Gateway Monument. Each dragon has 5 fingers on their paws, a traditional symbol of the highest authority, along with snakeskin bellies, scales, and 10 to 15 foot long whiskers. Flying in the clouds effect. The sculpture includes a misting system and aluminum mesh designed to make the fiberglass dragons appear as if they were flying through the clouds. Obviously that's not on right now, but that'd be so cool to see. Really, it's a relatively new addition here in Chinatown. Installed in 2001, the monument was upgraded in 2004 with bright, colorful lighting that illuminates the golden dragons at night. It's really designed to frame City Hall right through the gates. Just a perfect photo opportunity for your grand entrance here in Chinatown, Los Angeles. So right now I'm in the old Adobe, just adjacent to the old Chinatown. I'm gonna start right here because this is where Chinatown began before it was bulldozed. LA's first Chinese community actually started in the 1850s on a rough street called Calle de los Negros near the old Pueblo Plaza. And the Garnier building. This building was originally part of the original Chinatown. The only remaining structure left actually. The only surviving building from the original old Chinatown. Standing right here at the Garnier building, 1890. Now home of the Chinese American Museum. By 1870, the neighborhood had grown to about 200 people, mostly guys who had come to work on the railroads or pull shifts at the local farms. And now you got LA Union Station, pretty much sits on the entire neighborhood of the old Chinatown. Things turned tragic in 1871 when a massive mob attacked the area. It was one of the darkest, most violent days in the city's early history. Even with all the discrimination, people found a way to build a real community with herb shops, spots to gamble, and really the Garnier building was their home base. Wow, that's a really cool old looking pagoda style temple. Really, the original Chinatown started to fade in the early 1900s. Because really, the city wanted to use the land for some of its own big projects. And those are some cool little decorative figurines on that wall right there. Security cameras in use. Private property. And for good reason. Just absolutely stunning. By the early 30s, the heart of the old neighborhood was completely leveled to make room for Union Station. And back in those days, Chinese residents weren't even allowed to buy up new property anywhere else in the city. They had some really messed up laws back then. All related to the housing laws of early LA, the Exclusion Act, which barred not only Chinese citizens, but all citizens of races and ethnicities to buy property up here in the city of Los Angeles. A leader named Peter Suhu Sr. stepped up and got a group of businessmen together to buy private land for a new Chinatown. Which was a big deal because it was the first time in US history a Chinese community got to buy and plan their own community here in the United States. They all got together, bought up some private land, and established the new Chinatown. Man, those are some cool little knickknacks in here. Rocking Buddha. A lot of Chinese herbs, a lot of Chinese imports, and just a lot of various cool little Chinese knickknacks and really cool stuff. Maybe you can even find a Mogwai gizmo. You get a lot of hole-in-the-wall dim sum, traditional noodles, all sorts of restaurants. You get seafood, dive bars, massage parlors. Then we're coming up to one of my favorite restaurants here in the city, Philippe's the Original. Famous French dip. Greatest French dip sandwiches ever. Then they got a really good carrot cake in there too. Philippe the Original, an LA institution. Excellent French dip sandwiches. Really good carrot cake in there. Really fun time. Tons of Dodger memorabilia. Good place to go after a Dodger game or before a Dodger game. Philippe the Original, French dip sandwiches. Chinatown is home to one of the oldest Lions organization club here in the city of Los Angeles. Really, they broke ground on the new Chinatown in the late 30s, kind of envisioning a Chinese Hollywood. They would bring in tourists, keep residents safe. Then really the mid-century, the 1940s through the 80s, was the golden era of neon. When this Central Plaza opened in late 30s, it really had a cool mix of traditional architecture and that classic old Hollywood style Chinatown that they were going for. And usually during the daytime this will be bustling with residents and tourists. And during World War II, really this whole neighborhood did everything it could to support the patriotic cause with a strong alliance with the United States and China.
It's called Thai Rodeo Barbecue.
Thai Rodeo Barbecue, okay.
I serve New York strip, pork jowl, Thai style charcoal grill, ribeye.
Oh wow, okay.
Maybe back ribs, but I ran out.
Oh wow, okay. All the good stuff. Well,
Yeah.
the mango sticky rice, I like that. Okay. And that, oh wow, beautiful.
Yeah.
And that's from Dang Desserts, you said?
Dang dessert.
Oh wow, okay. Are they in here in Chinatown too?
Yeah.
Okay.
Next
oh,
to the
next door.
stage.
And they're already wrapped up.
Dang
okay.
dessert.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Sweet. And are you guys down here 7 days a week?
3 days a week.
3
Friday
days
to Sunday.
Friday through Sunday.
Yeah.
Okay.
Friday 5 to 11, Saturday and Sunday 1 to 9 p.m.
Okay, 1 to 9. Okay.
Friday we have EDM DJs, Saturday we have live music,
Oh,
Sunday
wow.
we have karaoke.
Okay,
We
that's
just
good.
finished the karaoke.
I'm gonna have to stop down. Oh wow, right here. Okay, that's so
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah, scan the QR code for more info.
Okay. Cool, man. This is beautiful.
Enjoy.
Thanks. Yep, so they wrapped up the food fair. Famous Hop Louie. Then in the 40s and the 50s, the neon signs whose places like Madame Wong's and the Wishing Well turned the area into a go-to spot for a night out. Then really, once the Exclusion Act was finally tossed in 43, more families moved in and it started feeling like a real residential neighborhood. In the 60s brought a fresh wave of immigrants and refugees from Southeast Asia, which really added to the local Cantonese culture here in Chinatown. Those big Eastgate and Westgate arches went up during this time, basically putting a stamp on where Chinatown begins and ends. Then in the mid-70s, Chinatown kind of became the unlikely heart of the punk scene here in LA. All those clubs in Hollywood really didn't want the punk scene anymore. They considered it a little too rowdy. So you got places like Madame Wong's, Hong Kong Cafe, really took in these punk bands and new wave bands that really didn't have a place to play in Hollywood anymore. Chinatown's history is deeply intertwined with the music scene, the Chinatown Punk Wars. The era saw Chinese restaurants transform into some of the most influential underground music venues in the world. In the late 70s, as Hollywood clubs grew wary of the rowdy punk scene, Chinatown's restaurant owners, many of whom were struggling with their declining dinner business, opened their doors to the new loud clientele. Madame Wong's, owned by the godmother of punk, Esther Wong, this venue became a powerhouse. Ironically, Esther actually disliked hardcore punk and preferred new wave, power pop. She actually banned the punk bands. She thought they were too rowdy. And she pretty much helped launch the careers of acts like the Knack, the Go-Go's, Oingo Boingo, the Police. Then here, Hong Kong Cafe, right across from Madame Wong's, pretty much became the rival sanctuary for the true punkers. It hosted the raw, aggressive sounds of hardcore punk, featuring bands like Black Flag, X, The Germs, The Bags. Really, the list goes on and on. Then the two famous venues kind of created a generational rift. You had the new wave power pop at Madame Wong's, all the skinny ties, the tight jeans. Then at the Hong Kong Cafe, you had the hardcore punkers. You had mohawks, studded belts, piercings, colored hair, you name it. Then in the early days, you had the Chinese opera, long before the punk rock, the Old Chinatown. They were pretty much cultural lifelines for early immigrants, featuring elaborate costumes, percussion, heavy music, stylized vocal performances. Then really in the 40s and the 50s, you had the jazz and noir era. Chinatown's high-end dining rooms featured big band and jazz ensembles, really kind of providing sophisticated soundtrack for the Hollywood elite who visited Chinatown for late-night exotic dinners. Then today it's the indie and the electronic. The music lives in places like Chung Road. Art galleries kind of occasionally double as DIY spaces. The Hop Louis Pagoda, with its 5-tier roof, became the icon of the neighborhood skyline during the mid-century years. Then in the 80s, you started to see huge Chinese grocery stores and dim sum eateries popping up all over the place. Really started to cater to that tourist and local vibe all at the same time. Then by the late 80s, the city started focusing on fixing things up a little bit. Tried to make sure the Central Plaza was protected, really as a historical landmark. Man, all this classic pagoda style architecture truly does kind of feel like a Hollywood backlot. And they filmed many movies down here. Movies like Chinatown, Kill Bill, Rush Hour, Beverly Hills Cop, Dragnet. Really, the list goes on and on. Hundreds of productions filmed down here. A lot of Bruce Lee, Jackie Chan. Wow, these are pretty cool little 3D wood kind of puzzle assembly kits. I don't know if it's coming through with the glass glare. Stacks upon stacks. Got some Chinese boats, some steamers. And here they all are. Stacks upon stacks of kits that you could buy and take home and assemble. Bruce Lee statue. So cool. A lot of new developments here in Chinatown. Modern building, kind of plain, boxy looking buildings, but it looks like they're doing their best to try to add to the Chinatown aesthetic. Then you get giant open lots primed for redevelopment. We're starting to see more modern condominiums. And really, I don't understand why they don't have to abide by the Chinatown aesthetics. And just hanging a couple lanterns really doesn't do it. I think there should be some like zoning laws. Then you get the classic Chinatown aesthetic. Really does have that romantic kind of Hollywood version of a Chinatown look to it. The Royal Pagoda Motel. Phoenix Bakery. They're on their 88th year. Lucky 88. It's probably their favorite year. A lot of history here in Chinatown. World of Cakes. Phoenix Bakery. Phoenix Bakery here in Chinatown. You get a lot of Asian crafts, a lot of imports, a lot of Eastern medicine and kind of remedy shops selling Eastern wares, Far East accessories. Woo's Gift Shop. It's a really cool font. Then you get the annual Golden Dragon Parade, which is the cornerstone, really, of the whole Chinese New Year, Lunar New Year celebration you have here in Los Angeles. Lunar New Year is still the biggest event of the year, with the Golden Dragon Parade bringing in massive crowds. Features vibrant, long-bodied puppets representing power and good fortune. And they go all out, choreograph, high-energy performance. Takes place on Broadway using rhythmic aerobatic movements designed to scare away evil spirits and bring good luck. And the dragon symbolizes strength and prosperity. And the longer the dragon, the more luck it'll bring to the community. And in addition to the main parade, usually there's firecracker displays, performances by lion dancers, and that'll take place in the Central Plaza across Broadway over there, where we just came from. Chung Court. It's pretty much a central feature of the historic Chinatown pedestrian complex. Wow, that's a cool bird cage. And Chung Court here is one of the staples for the new Chinatown, developed in the late 30s. Trying to promote some tourist attractions and tourist restaurants. Yeah, beautiful statue, rock art. And Chung Court is where they filmed Rush Hour with Jackie Chan. All these cool little vintage coin-operated rides for kids. And they do pretty good during the day. Kids line up to ride these things. Nowadays, Chinatown is a total food destination where you'll find old school noodle shops right next to trendy hot chicken joints. Art galleries have taken over the old warehouses, really creating a really cool contemporary art scene. You'll find that in the historic alleys scattered throughout Chinatown. The Metro Gold Line station opened in 2003, making it easier for the rest of LA to get in and out of the neighborhood. I always admired this Gold Line station. I think it's one of the coolest looking, has a pagoda style architecture. Really themed well to Chinatown and the whole aesthetic here. The train just came into the station. I think I might have missed it. Now it's bailing. Wow, that's an awesome shot of City Hall right here. On the Metro Gold Line platform here in Chinatown. I think the station opened in 2003. Has a really cool pagoda style Chinatown influence and theme. Really makes it easy for residents to get in and out of Chinatown if you don't have a car. I'm not sure when the last train is. Maybe 6 minutes or something. And the Blossom Plaza right here is a perfect example of the new condominiums that are popping up here in Chinatown. It's kind of like an internal battle they got going on here in Chinatown. Out with the old, in with the new. But at least they're trying to keep up with theme a little bit. They got some lanterns in there. But other than that, it's just a big, boxy kind of building. I know there's been an ongoing battle to get a Walmart here in Chinatown. A lot of the small mom and pop shops really don't want anything to do with it. I think it's almost inevitable before we get a Walmart down here. I'm not sure if it's happening still or what. And if they do approve the Walmart, I think it's going to go right there. In that giant dirt lot. Then across the way you got more gigantic condominiums, leasing, renting. Just changing the face of the identity of Chinatown. Then you can kind of see the Central Plaza right through here with that neon. That's the MTA building. They used to do cool little artistic renderings with their windows and the lights. Like for Valentine's Day, they would make a heart out of all the lights. They haven't done that in a while. So much modern development down here. A lot of gentrification. And you can take that train all the way to Pomona, about 45 miles to the east. Not sure when the trains end. I thought they ended at midnight, but obviously they go a little later, which is good because there's still a lot of people trying to get home. Man, you can really feel the tension of all these new high-end luxury apartments towering over the older buildings that called Chinatown home for many of decades. I always loved the look of this Bank of America. They really did their part to fit it in here in Chinatown. Really, you had to abide by the Chinatown aesthetic when you're building a building. But it seems like that law doesn't really apply anymore, especially with all these new high-end luxury condominiums. Now I'm making my way to the Central Plaza, which is pretty much kind of like Chinatown's living room. You'll see seniors doing Tai Chi in the morning, tourists taking selfies at night, and you really get a lot of beautiful neon. And really, Far East Plaza has turned into a chef's playground, where some of the most famous modern food trends in LA got their start. And it's a really good thing. A lot of people are working hard right now to save the old neon signs and the architecture that gave the area its noir vibe. The neighborhood is still a landing spot for new immigrants, but it's also becoming a trendy place for young professionals to live. Places like the Chinese American Museum are still doing the heavy lifting to teach people about the community's long, complicated history. Now I guess we can kind of talk about the future, maybe some evolution and sustainability. Chinatown is heading toward a more transit-friendly vibe, packing more into the area since it's so close to Union Station and downtown. I think we can expect to see more adaptive reuse projects, like taking old buildings, turning them into cool new spaces, while keeping the history intact. The neighborhood is likely going to be a major link in the Green Loop that connects Chinatown to the LA River revamp. Getting legacy businesses status for the shops that have been there for generations is really going to be key to keeping the area's soul alive. And I think the real test for Chinatown's future will be balancing all this new money and growth while protecting the immigrant community that built it. Really, had a nice tour of Chinatown. Still actually pretty active down here. Saw some cool lights, saw some cool shops, talked about the history, and I actually learned a lot while I was down here. And I think I'm going to wrap it up here, right at the Bruce Lee statue. I appreciate you watching. If you're feeling adventurous, maybe like, subscribe. I don't know, it's up to you if you enjoyed what you saw. But really, a lot of dynamic happenings ongoing down here in Chinatown. A neighborhood that's pretty much changing. I don't know if it's for the good, but I really like a lot of this old kind of Hollywood noir, pagoda style, fantasy land type of Chinatown you got down here. But with all those new high-rises and condos popping up, we'll see. But that's going to do it. I appreciate you guys watching. Chris Coaster, over and out.